welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am but one of your hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mock.
And welcome to the radio program that's once a week, Sundays at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Flame. But this day, today, we're also in the St. Lucie County Education TV studio recording the radio program that is televised on the Education channel as well as on their YouTube channel.
That's a lot to say.
It's a multimedia program here, and it's a feel-good program all about connecting you, the listeners, and the viewers about what resources are available to children and families in St. Lucie County. And in this 30 minutes that we have together, technically 28 minutes and 30 seconds, we are going to bring and talk about an exciting resource that's coming new to our community. But before we do that, we're going to remind you who we are, what we do, and why we're on TV and radio. Clearly, we're not professionals at this, but we are professionals at working at the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County, where we do 5 things in the community. We provide resources that, 1, make sure every baby's a healthy baby, whether it be the nurse home visitation program, working with children that have developmental delays. Second priority is stopping child abuse before it happens, parenting support, and getting families out of crises. Third priority is keeping kids off the streets. One of our favorite ones, we talk about it a lot, about whether it be summer or during the school, after school programs like the Boys and Girls Club, Avenue D Boys and Girls Choir, the YMCA Frontline. It's only a 28-minute show. I'm not going through them all. Fourth priority is keeping kids in school, which is appropriate considering we're in the studio of the St. Lucie County School Board, whether that be programs to help kids become great readers by 3rd grade, which is a little precursor to what we're going to talk about today, or programs to help kids that have been suspended from school to make sure they stay out of trouble. And then our last priority is keeping kids off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors, those behaviors that teenagers have a tendency to go towards.
We try to steer them in a positive direction, right? But I kind of want to touch on one thing that you mentioned, and that was parenting. We've gotten a lot of requests in the last couple of weeks through our Facebook page, through our website, about from parents that are looking for some additional support, whether it's parenting classes, just some additional skill building resources. And we used to offer a lot of workshops through various trainers throughout the community, and we have sort of shifted those trainings to the Parent Academy of St. Lucie County. So we've answered a lot of questions recently in the last couple of weeks, and we have turned those folks to the Parent Academy. But I just wanted to remind all of our listeners and viewers that the Parent Academy is here as a resource for local parents, and they are doing a just huge variety of workshops for parents, from financial literacy to English for speakers of other languages to parenting skill building. And they really do have a wonderful website where you can get more information about all of those workshops that they have going on. And they've got a lot of resources. So I would encourage all of you to take a look there. We've got a link to their website from our page where you can get more information about it. But so you can get to us at cscslc.org and then look for information on the Parent Academy for some of those parenting workshops, because it is something that we've gotten a lot of questions about recently.
And so you talk about how we get a lot of those questions. And a lot of those questions come in through Facebook. Now, I'm assuming everybody in our listening and viewing audience is on Facebook.
I would think so.
But if you're not, join the rest of your friends. Get on Facebook. Look up Children's Services Council, St. Lucie County. We post on there every day, but it's a great way to learn about resources. We post inspirational messages or things that are happening. It's kind of an extension of this radio program.
It is. You know, it's funny. We had some students on the show, on the radio show last week, and they told us that Facebook is not cool for kids anymore. How did you feel about that? I was a little burned by that. I don't know.
I have teenagers,
you knew
so I already
that
knew that. I already knew that.
I felt a little old, I'm not going to lie. So Facebook's not cool for kids anymore.
But it's cool for us adults.
Right. Twitter is apparently where it's at, and Snapchat.
Right.
Snapchat is the cool place to be. So, but we still are on Facebook, and we share a lot of information, and we do have a lot of communication with parents there. And our website is another great resource. We also have a mobile app where we share resources of our funded programs, as well as a directory where we have information about all of the programs that we are funding in the community. So whether it is through our family guide or through the mobile app, you can get a quick kind of synopsis of each one of the programs that we're funding, as well as a contact number so that you can get directly connected to them to find out more about what it is that they do, how to get your family involved, and how to get services for your child.
Or if you like to help us decide show topics, if you will, or if we talk so fast you miss the resource we mentioned, or or the number, you can always text us directly. And this is, I'm glad this number is written down because I don't call myself that often, but you can text me directly at 772-237-1130. Again, 237-1130 for show topics or clarification of something that we've talked about.
I want to take a quick second to give a shout out to somebody. You know, we joke all the time that we have like a very small listening audience, even though we're just kidding and it's just a joke between you and I. But I got stopped last week by somebody who kind of gave us a little bit of kudos and mentioned that he listened frequently and that we were doing a good job and that he shared a lot of the information that we share on the radio show with students and colleagues of his. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Brady Talley over at Indian River State College because I know that he is sharing this information with students that he's working with over there, and we really appreciate the feedback. And I know that this information is getting out there to the students in his program, and we're just really, really grateful for the relationship and that this is being used well.
So you can text us at 237-1130 just to let us know that you utilize this show.
Yeah.
And we'll build a
give
segment.
you a shout out.
We'll build a segment where we give out shout outs to dedicated listeners. So we always start the show summarizing who we are, but we also talk about quick tips or things that are happening. And something that I'm excited about, and I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a personal thing to me because when I was young, my parents would ship me off to my grandparents I'm sure for good reasons.
Right, of course.
And because we never got to see the movies growing up, but we'd always go see a movie with my grandparents. That was like the special treat during the summer. You went to go see a movie. So this summer, every summer, we sponsor the $1 movies at the Treasure Coast Mall so that parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles can have an affordable way to take their kids, grandkids, or neighbors to the movies because it's a unique experience going to the movie theater. So
and it's expensive.
It's expensive. But not in the summer because of our sponsorship. You can go to the Treasure Coast Mall on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. is when it starts, and it costs $1 to get in.
It's a deal.
You can't do anything for $1.
Not much. Not a whole lot of anything.
And so while the radio show is a weekly show, we also know that the television show is monthly. So the movie schedule is on our website. Again, cscslc.org. But if you're interested in next week's or this week's coming up show, it's Pan, which I haven't seen, but that's a new release, and Smurfs too.
That's right. But you can get the full schedule on our website and keep an eye on our Facebook page because every Monday or Tuesday morning we'll release what the movies are going to be for that week. So it's a really great deal. $1, again, you can't do a whole lot for $1. So it's something really cool that we're really happy we're able to do through a great partnership with Regal Cinemas.
It's worth $1 just to sit in 68-degree weather for 2 hours, right?
That is a very good point. One more quick thing that I want to mention that we're doing this summer that I think is really awesome is water safety lessons. And there's been a lot of conversation about what's happening in our community in regards to water safety. We have had the opportunity to have some really great partnerships throughout the years with both St. Lucie County Aquatics, Indian River State College, the Health Department, Safe Kids Coalition, and just a number of partners in our community. And just last week, we're able to kind of start the beginning of a partnership with Indian River State College, who is offering some lessons to some of our summer camps. We have, for a number of years, done lessons through St. Lucie County Aquatics, who does some community scholarships as well as some camp scholarships. This is the first year that we've engaged Indian River State College again for a long time, so we're really excited about the opportunity of what that might look like moving forward. We think that we're going to be able to serve about 180 additional kids this summer, plus what we're doing with the county. So we're really excited about what that looks like. We're really excited that these kids are getting some, significant water safety instruction, and it's just the partnerships that have been able to be brought together from this are just really exciting. So I'm grateful that we've been able to be at the table for these conversations and what this looks like moving forward. So these kids are really lucky that we've started these conversations.
And because it is the summer and it's hot, and a lot of kids want to go into the pools, the ocean, the river, canals to cool off, make sure that you watch all your children around water. And if you're not sure who the responsible adult is that's watching the children, let's say you go to a pool party, if you don't know who it is,
it's you.
Yeah, it's you. And watching children around water does not mean reading a magazine and keeping an ear out or checking your phone, because most drownings are silent. There's not a lot of screaming when a child goes underwater. So please, 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 so that we can avoid a tragedy, this summer, please make sure that you watch your children around water.
Yes.
So we're going to switch topics.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about in the past shows about the importance of reading and reading mentors, and we've talked about the importance of making sure that children are able to read by 3rd grade so that they can be successful in school. We've partnered with the library, with the Mets, but we have a really exciting initiative that has taken place is taking place in St. Lucie County, and it's unique. We're the only county that is offering this, and we're fortunate we brought Cernelia Pierre and Deb Labella from the Early Learning Coalition to talk about it. And I have on here, like, maybe I should introduce the bill and stuff, but I feel like that might take away from part of what you're going to talk about. So they're going to talk about the Jumpstart Literacy Pilot Project.
Yeah, great, thank you. The Literacy Jumpstart Pilot Project is really the brainchild and dream of Representative Larry Lee. So he's been, for many years, bringing our community partners together to really focus on how do we bring, as a community, early literacy skills to our 2- and 3-year-olds in subsidized housing. There's many studies and many research articles that say, young children living in poverty or living in situations that are not conducive to learning sometimes or oftentimes don't get the skill building that they need. So Larry Lee's very dedicated to this project, and we've targeted the northwest section of Fort Pierce. We are actually targeting the children and families that live in the Garden Terrace housing area. So what we are doing, and the pilot has really just started, Cernelia has been with us for a month, but really targeting those families with 2- and 3-year-olds and engaging the parents and all the family members in early literacy. So whether it's book reading or communication or vocabulary or playing games, it's really introducing families and engaging them in how to interact and be positive about reading, be positive about learning, be positive about education. So, and knowing that the brain is almost fully developed by age 3, hitting these children, not hitting these children, but targeting these children and their families early and in a comprehensive way will start to build that with the families. So we're very excited. As the Early Learning Coalition, we were awarded the grant through the Office of Early Learning. It was a competitive bid, and just being able to work with the families, and Cernelia has already engaged 6 children.
Oh, wow.
In 3 weeks. I mean, it's like an amazing feat for us. So we are very excited, and we know the importance of early literacy, and we know that children need opportunities to grow. They need opportunities to explore. That's how they learn. So bringing those opportunities to the families and engaging the families in this project is just extremely beneficial for everyone.
So, when we talk about literacy, oftentimes we talk about literacy when they're in school.
Right.
And then, now the conversation has shifted to when they're in kindergarten or preschool or childcare, I should say. But when we have programs that work with new parents, and they give them a book, and they tell the parent, read to your child, because really it all starts right from day one, right?
Absolutely.
So it's very exciting because we have this continuum where pretty much maybe VPK to kindergarten to 3rd grade, we have these programs to help these kids, but you're getting in there early. And I think what's important for people to understand is, clearly working with a 2-year-old, you're not going to work extensively with a 2-year-old at like an hour at a time. Anybody who has young children knows exactly what I'm talking about. So it's really the parents and the caregivers.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about kind of like what are the qualifications to get in the program? Because I know part of the reason why we wanted you on this month is so that we can kind of get the word out so that maybe parents that are interested can connect with you. So what are the qualifications?
Well, they have to be living in a locally or federally subsidized housing, and the child has to be 2 or 3 years of age.
Okay, so that's it.
That's it.
And then call
That's
us
it.
out. I'm in.
That's it. That's it. And right now we are targeting the Garden Terrace area. But once we are successful and up and running, we can go to different areas. So, but focusing on one area first, it seemed like the best thing to do. And there's quite a few families with younger children in that area. So.
And you had mentioned at the top, is that this is a pilot project. Representative Larry Lee got funds from the state, wrote a bill, and
Yep.
they're piloting this. So
Right.
obviously all eyes are on us.
All eyes
No
are on
pressure.
us.
To be successful with the idea that if we start early, it's just more proof that starting early is better. It can be replicated across the state. That's very exciting. That's kind of groundbreaking, right?
It is.
So do parents, like, let's say somebody's watching, they're like, hey, you know, I know somebody that lives at
Yep.
Garden Terrace, they have a 2-year-old or soon to be two-year-old. Do they just call you?
They will call me, and I can come to their homes, or they can come in my office. It's located at the Williams Center, and I'll speak with them more about the program. They will sign an application, and once it is approved and the process improved, I will begin immediately the individualized sessions with them in their home or at my office.
And what's the number that they can get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me at 772-577-9850.
Can you talk a little bit about, like, if I'm a parent who's going to call and I go through the application process and everything gets approved, what can I expect to happen? Like, what's going to happen when I show up for an individualized session?
Is it after we do the jump for joy in the office? Because
Right.
every family we get, it's that jump of joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
After I jump for joy, then what happens?
Then I will go in, and depending on the child, I will assess the child to see where they are, and just whether it's read a book with that child, have games and activities. Is just fun, making it fun for that child and pleasurable for that child to know that reading is fun, learning is fun, and that's what this program is all about, to model that behavior.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So you're going to do it for the child with the parents there,
Right.
and they're going to learn from you doing
Absolutely.
it. It's really, and it's really simple, and it's
It is.
On
you
the
know,
face of it,
right,
it's
on the
very
face of
simple,
it.
right?
But it's so important because
Right.
you know, I know, you know, when I was a parent, you know, why, you know, what am I going to read to my 1-year-old? Like,
Right.
I got no reaction here. What's
Yeah.
going on? But you can read almost anything.
Right.
But I think also, too, the thing that we have to remember is early literacy skills isn't just about reading. It's about vocabulary. It's about introducing children to different ways of communicating, whether it's nonverbal or verbal. It's just, it's all that put together for the early literacy. The books and the reading part are a piece of it, but it's really, a lot of it is the vocabulary, because we know, you know, the 30 million word gap study says children of lower socioeconomics really at 24 months have 30 million words deficit of their peers. So it's really about talking and communicating and reading and introducing print and different venues of literacy.
And if they start with a deficit and then they continue to go through it, they're never going to get caught up. So you're
It's very
I mean,
hard
that's
to get caught
hence
up.
the name Jumpstart,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
I thought it was
Right.
because Deb was jumping up and down because she was so excited.
No, it wasn't.
So they call 577-9850. Now you mentioned, and we like to talk about like what parents can expect, because you know sometimes when you say, oh, just call this number, it's simple, and then they have to go through this big process.
Right.
You're like, you lied to me. So what is, they call you up and you're gonna have them come in, or you're gonna go to their
Go to
home?
their homes.
Oh, you go to their home. So you
Yeah.
move that obstacle of them having to travel.
Right.
Awesome, love that. So they fill out an application, and then they're in.
And then they're in.
So it really is as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I know that above and beyond going to their home and providing those, there's going to be like outings for everybody to get together, right?
Yep, we'll have free field trips, family field trips for the families, that's centered around literacy. We'll also have parent meetings with resources from organizations that we have collaborated with for this project. So yeah.
So while you're working with, you're signing up all these families individually, it's really
Bring them
like a big
together.
cohort, a big
Right,
group, a big
right.
family, if you will.
Making it-
And so they're going to get together periodically. That's awesome. So you mentioned some of the partners. Who are some of your partners that you're working with?
Yeah.
CSC. We do. Yeah. Larry Lee had a wonderful way of bringing a lot of great minds together to the table when he wrote this House bill. So we actually just used those folks and carried them on as our partners. But we will be working closely with the Parent Academy. And we also are working with Big Brothers Big Sisters, our local agency. And the Housing Authority has been really great and supportive as far as we are renting space for very minimal cost And so Sornelia will be actually at the Williams Center with an office, and they've been really great with identifying families for us. And we go out, Sornelia
excellent.
goes out with some housing authority employees and leave flyers and meets families to recruit them or introduce the program to them. Housing authority, I know I'm going to forget somebody, and that's going to be horrible. Yep. But the important part about the having community partners is that the program, while it's designed, is only designed to do so much, and it's really relying on our community agencies to make sure that the families get the support they need. The children get the support in VPK through a mentoring or reading program that the Big Brothers Big Sisters does. Or if they go to an elementary school that Big Brothers Big Sisters has their AmeriCorps reading volunteers, kindergarten through second grade. So we know it doesn't end when a child turns 3. That continuum has to happen for that support for the family. So that's where our partners come in, and it's been very valuable so far.
And that's important to know. I mean, it's Jumpstart, so you're getting them started 2 to 3, and then the continuum that exists in the community is going to pick them up and then follow them to 3rd grade.
To 3rd grade.
Which is, that's pretty outstanding.
With the school board, we do have a relationship that we will get that support, following the children through 3rd grade.
So your goal is to have 50 kids?
Yes.
And you've got 6 now.
We have 6 now.
So here's the call out, people. you knew this was coming, right? So if you know any family that's living in
Locally
Garden Terrace
locally
area,
subsidized housing in the Garden Terrace, and they have a 2 or 3-year-old, make sure that they call Sornelia at 577-9850. And if you're unsure, you're like, I think they live there, but I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Sornelia will sort that out for you.
Right.
And then we'll keep getting up to that 50, and then we'll see how high Deb is jumping at that time.
That's right.
So the program sounds fantastic, and obviously we want as many families participating as possible. That's again part of the call out, part of the action. But you also have an event coming up.
We do. We have our Literacy Jumpstart kickoff event. So it's June 25th from 11 to 1. Representative Lee will be there. A lot of community agencies. We've invited all our partners. And some other agencies that work with families, and we've also included our child care providers that work in that zip code area, just really as a resource for families, introduce families to different opportunities in the community. And we're going to have a face painter, and it's really just to say, hey, we're here, this is what we're going to do, this is how we want to engage your families. And have it just be our first real event to introduce us to the community.
It's part of creating that family, right?
It's part of building relationships, and everything is going to be about relationships with the families, with our partners, with anyone that comes in contact with this program.
Well, and it sounds too like even, throughout what you guys are doing with the families that are involved, you're sort of encouraging them to build relationships with each other, which I think is a really important part because, we've identified through research that, we've done as well, that as these families are growing up in these communities, they kind of rely on each other for the support that they need to get through. And it's so important for us to identify that it's happening, and as long as we support that it's happening, then we can, provide them the additional support that they need. So I think it's really cool that we've kind of put this program in place to provide that safety net, if you will, that they need, kind of that they were already doing for themselves.
And I think too, it's, families don't have to go at this alone. So providing the opportunities and giving families the chance to meet others, and the field trips, we're hoping to do fun and exciting things. I mean, 2 and 3-year-olds, as exciting, and but really introducing, our community is a wealth of resources. So, how do we get families introduced to Sundays in the Park or our family fun fair? So, just providing that for the families and getting them excited about learning and engaging.
So we want everybody that knows a family that would qualify, again, in the Garden Terrace area, a 2 or 3-year-old, to call Sornelia at 577-9850. Now, obviously, the target is 50, but we're hoping that there's going to be so much interest that it's going to grow and grow, and then it's going to be
We're
so
going to
wild.
make you really busy. That's the plan.
Okay.
And it's going to be so wildly successful, you're going to have people that want to get in.
Yeah.
So, and I, this is the worst thing you ever want to hear a host say. I don't want to put you on the spot,
Oh.
But, so let's say there's families, they're like, I don't live in Garden Terrace, I live in Port St. Lucie, but I'm interested, like, what should I be doing with my 2 and 3-year-old on whether it be a weekly or daily basis? So, kind of, what is the general idea of what people should be doing with their 2 and 3-year-olds?
Talk to your children. Children don't care often what parents say as long as they have that engagement and hear that talking. So as you're changing a diaper, talk about,
how messy it is.
How messy it is, or, the pictures on the wall. When you go to the grocery store, can you find the red apple? Just really engaging children in talking. So often I think as adults, and I fall into it too, even parenting, we get so busy and we just rush around to get what we need to get done that, our kids are just there. So we need to keep them engaged, keep them talking, introduce books. We part of our program, we have quite a few books that we're going to be giving to the families, just so children don't need to know just how to open a book. That's the start. How to, just hold a book. A lot of people now only do things electronically, but the books are still really important. So, really, parents can just engage their children, turn off the TV, really just vocabulary. That's what really needs. Have the child ask questions. Children sometimes may not have the right words, but if they say a word wrong, you can say it, oh, you mean to say, or you said, whatever. Just really engaging their children.
That's so true. This is a proof that I'm old. So when you were saying that, I remember the movie 3 Men and a Baby.
Yep.
And at one point, the baby, they're like, you need to read to the child. And he was reading like a ESPN magazine on boxing.
Right.
But he was reading it with infection
Right.
that made it interesting to the child.
sure.
So literally it can be anything.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I dated myself there.
And I did too.
Yeah, you agreed. You know what I'm talking about.
I knew what you were talking about.
So again, I keep giving this number out. You're like, Sean, we get it. You want people enrolled, but I think it's so important. And Deb and Cornelia mentioned it. This is the way that we can give opportunity to all families is to make sure that they have the vocabulary, and it's called Jumpstart to Reading or Jumpstart to Literacy. And literacy, people automatically think about reading, but Deb has reminded us it's really language and vocabulary. So this is kind of the pathway to success.
Right.
If you have the words and you have the vocabulary, you can then read, and then you're going to be successful in school, which then is a platform for other success. So this is so crucially important. That's why you need to call. 577-9850. And if you're unsure, if you think your neighbor lives maybe a block or two away, call anyway. We'll sort it out. But make sure that you do get involved. And if you're listening to this perhaps on a Sunday and you're on your way to church, mention it at your congregation.
Yep. That's okay. Yeah.
Because we want families involved, and success. And the whole purpose of this television radio program is to get people connected to resources, and resources are only as good as people use them.
That's right.
So this is outstanding. I'm excited.
It's
So
exciting.
June 25th. So we have 40 seconds left. Never mind. We'll save that for another time. All right. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show, and thank you so much.
you.
You did great. You did great. Any last minute?
No, we'll recap everything on our website. So if you did miss it, we'll be sure to post all the information there.
And we want to thank you for tuning in. If you're a TV listener, you can check us every Sunday. We do this every week at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Flame. If you're a radio listener and you want to see what these faces look like, reluctantly go to YouTube and look up St. Lucie County Education Channel or check it out on your cable provider. And a reminder that it's a weekly show. It's our children, our community, our future. We're all in this together. We'll see you next time.